Hello, and welcome back to yet another entry into this never-ending stream of videos of me solving self-imposed problems. This video will be slightly different because I have no idea where to start. I haven't started. I have no idea where the project is gonna go, and I was hoping to let you all become a bit more familiar or intimate with the day-to-day creative operations around here, so let's get to work. Whenever I start a new project, I might, well, depending on my level of inspiration, I could read a book. This is Noise, Water, Meat by Douglas Kahn, which I just started on. It's a nice way to get the juices flowing, the creative ones. Another thing I like to do is to make some sketches. These are obviously very rough sketches. I can't draw to save my life. But they're just there to give an inclination or a rough direction for me to take into my computer software of choice for more detailed design work. These might have been new sketches or inspired by sketches from projects that never materialized. But the sketches are also tied in with these topical keywords. As you can see, mono seems to be the underlying theme here. And that is because working with mono audio requires a totally different approach than stereo audio. It's not spatial in the same way. In a stereo image, you would lay out your sound objects on a horizontal plane, while in the mono audio, you stack them vertically. And I think there's a nice visual language there as well, because you can make a sculpture vertical, but you can also make a sound vertical. So I think that is gonna be the theme for this project, mono. After I'm done with basic sketching, I like to do sketching on a whole different level, namely in the code with the audio. I got the Daisy seed on the breadboard here. You can probably hear the noise in the background. This is the very first breadboard I got. I think so. I must be 15 years old. It's just connected through a stereo connector here to the back of my audio interface. I'm probably a bit of a peasant because I'm one of the few people who actually uses Arduino. So it works for me. I've been using Arduino for years, so I'm not gonna change anytime soon. So I think I will recycle some old code. It's quite normal around here. I'm gonna go into Aureolic Trace, which sounds roughly like this. And then I'm gonna change out a few sounds, maybe change the logic structure a little bit. Maybe I can make more like a burst type of sound rather than this steady stream of rhythmical sounds. So I'm gonna try to swap around a few parameters and see how that goes. So if you don't mind, I'm just gonna upload the code here onto the Daisy seed. So this is what it sounds like. You can hear it's using, well, you can't quite hear it, you will soon. So I found it fitting to use the car plus strong algorithm because the car plus strong algorithm is using a wideband noise impulse to trigger a feedback loop that produces the pitches, and I found that as a nice visual image of what's happening in the mono spatial landscape as well, with the focus on the vertical layering of sound. So now we are really extracting a pitch out of a full spectrum noise. So I found that to be cool. So I feel we are starting to develop a fairly strong identity for this piece. I'm just wondering if there's anything else we can do to strengthen our concept. I think this contains what I'm looking for. Yes. This is a speaker I bought some months ago and I already tested it, so it has a dinky 3D printed enclosure already. It looks pretty vertical to me, should fit right in. Because it has been bothering me that I'm spending all this time making elaborate soundscapes or stereographic soundscapes. But then due to space constraints, I'm only able to fit a single speaker in the work itself. So when you meet up in person and you listen to the work, it's only a single channel. At least it's not going to be a problem in this work because we only have one channel per speaker. So let's recap. We have established the verticality, the monophonic audio, and we have the speaker enclosure to reinforce both of those ideas. So let's get back to the overall design again. If you think about stereophonic sound as 3 axes, and then you think about monophonic sound as 2 axes, where the y-axis is the frequency domain and the x-axis is the duration, or in this case, the reverb tail of the sound. Then you can also think about the y-axis or the frequency domain as the main subject, with the x-axis being a string tied to the main subject as it moves through time. And I think if you think about it this way, it sort of legitimizes the, both the ideas of the vertical structure and whatever this is, more of a flat type of structure. So we're not really any closer to a finalized design, with the options being as open as they are. It's becoming more challenging as we move more and more towards a digital world. There's a trade-off between the physical presence of analog electronics and the ease of use and sound quality of a digital microcontroller. The footprint is entirely different. There's less tangible material to work with. There are less interesting signals to lay out. One of my goals has always been to increase the transparency of the circuit so that when a viewer comes and looks at the work, they can understand the underlying processes. And that's becoming increasingly difficult to do when you lack the appropriate ingredients. I think due to the digital nature of the Car+Strong algorithm, we won't be able to delegate any of the sound producing tasks to analog components, so the LEDs will have to do a lot of the heavy lifting here with regards to sculpting and transparency, at least. Because I think, at least as far as I'm concerned, we will be able to regain some of that physical footprint with discrete logic, LED drivers, that sort of thing, in the resistor control circuit. And by extension also regain some of the transparency that is lost in the microcontroller and in the code. If I remember correctly, we had 2 separate voices, and each voice could potentially produce 5, I think, notes each. So it would be logical to use 10 LEDs, so 5 for each voice, and this can trigger as the notes change. We'll see. Okay, I've done a bit of coding. Hopefully it should work. I just need to plug in this last cable. I've also attached the speaker, so you should hear the sound through the amplifier into the speaker. Gonna turn it on and hope it works. Yes. Well, it's just a proof of concept. I'm gonna bring you a bit closer. Because I still hope to make all the logic control of the LEDs discreetly so that we have more meat on the bones here. But I think that will have to do for this video. Hopefully I will go through the detailed design process in the next video. I'm gonna have to leave this house for a few weeks, so it will take a bit longer than I would have hoped. But yeah, I hope you found this interesting. If not, then that's fine too. I'll see you around.